Buried treasure has always been a thing of myths and legends, and usually believed to be located in some exotic, far-off location. But in some cases, real people in normal circumstances have found remarkable things underground. From ancient fossils to valuable treasures, to rare gems and a Ferrari. The most unusual and valuable items might just be underneath your feet right now. Let's take a look at some of the strangest and most interesting things that have been dug up from under the earth. Gold coins in New Mexico. One day in sunny Sierra Nevada, New Mexico, a couple was walking their dog on their property when one of them noticed what looked like a decaying canister poking out of the ground. Not thinking much of it, they dug it up with a stick and returned to their house with the damaged old canister. They popped the lid open, and what was inside didn't look like much, just some dirty-looking discs with soil surrounding them in the can. But after brushing off the discs, the couple realized these were nearly perfectly preserved $20 gold coins. The coins were dated from the 1890s and featured a Liberty head design. Intrigued and excited, the couple ran back to the same spot where they found the canister, and they dug up 8 more cans. All totaled, they found 1,427 coins with a combined face value of $27,980. The couple, who have wisely chosen to remain anonymous, had their coins appraised by an esteemed coin collector. The estimate of their coins' worth? $10 million. The details behind this remarkable discovery remain a mystery. The coins are discovered to be historical artifacts that tell stories of that time. The gold rush of the mid-1800s, the lives lost in the fight for wealth, the Wild West, the legends of buried treasures. The anonymous and humble couple who discovered the treasure are self-employed and were extremely grateful for the windfall. They donated some of the proceeds to the homeless in the area, and they kept a few coins as keepsakes. Treasures found in an Austrian backyard. In 2007, a man in Austria was digging in his backyard to expand a small pond when he stumbled across something buried under the soil. It was a little box that he set aside without having opened it. 3 years later, he discovered its contents when he was packing up his belongings to move. He immediately reported what was inside the box to officials. Austria's Department of National Antiquities identified the box's contents as a treasure trove of medieval jewelry and other precious and rare objects. The box contained 200 rings, brooches, ornate belt buckles, gold and silver plates, and some fragments of items with precious stones. The total value of the items was estimated to be close to $150,000. These rare and original pieces were likely custom-made for high-class consumers in Central Europe in the Middle Ages. No one knows the origin of the objects. They may have been hastily buried by a treasure who was hiding it for safety. Or because the location was on an important medieval trading route, the box could have been buried to hide it from potential theft or to avoid a conflict. Sadly, the beautiful treasure's origins and the reason it was buried will never be known, and the man who found them remains anonymous. Garden money. An unemployed man outside of Chicago, Illinois, was digging for broccoli in his backyard in preparation for dinner. But instead of broccoli, Wayne Sabaj found a duffel bag packed with $20 bills. He was shocked and brought the bag into the house to show it to his father. The two debated about what to do for 30 minutes and then decided to call the cops. "It's not my money," said Wayne. He was afraid that whoever stashed it would come looking for it. And he also thought of the possibility that it might be from a bank robbery. And he said, "Then I'd be charged with a bank robbery." When the sheriff's officers showed up to Wayne's home and inspected the site where the bag was buried, they found a second bag in the same spot. The two bags contained $150,000 in cash. Investigators said there had been no bank robberies reported in the area, and checking the bags and bills for fingerprints yielded no clues. The cops left business cards at the spot where the bags were buried, with a note that said, "Please call," written on one of them. North Carolina emerald. Central North Carolina is known to be a location where emeralds are often mined. A town called Hiddenite, north of Charlotte, is named for the stones that it produces. They're similar but paler than emeralds. At one time in the early 1900s, the family who owned a farm in Hiddenite charged treasure hunters $3 a day to allow them to shovel for precious stones. but no stories of valuable stones found were ever told. Almost a century later, in 2010, an extraordinarily large emerald was discovered on the same farm. After it was cut and honed, the 65-carat emerald was just slightly bigger than the size of a quarter and was as heavy as a AA battery. A New York gemologist examined the stone and said it is the largest cut emerald ever to be found in North America. He said it compares in size and quality to an emerald that was featured in a brooch once owned by the Russian Empress Catherine the Great. Christie's auction house sold the emerald for $1.65 million. Star of Murfreesboro. The largest diamond ever found in the Arkansas area was found by a tourist at the Arkansas Diamond Mine. Known as the Star of Murfreesboro, the diamond is a 34¼ blue diamond and measures almost 3/4 of an inch. At the time it was found in 1964 by John Pollock, it was valued at $15,000. Today, it's worth well over $100,000. The Pollock family still owns the diamond and occasionally loans it out for display at museums and gem shows. The diamond mining site where the Star of Murfreesboro was found is now called the Crater of Diamond State Park. It's one of the only diamond mining locations in the world that's open to the public. On average, park visitors find 2 diamonds a day. All visitors keep the diamonds they find. Dinosaur bone. In 1997, a 68-year-old retired man was building a fence in his garden in Suffolk, England, when he dug up something very unusual. He thought it was a giant fossil, but he wasn't sure exactly what it was, so he tucked it away in his garden shed and didn't give it a second thought. 16 years later, when cleaning out his shed, the man found the relic again, and this time he decided to take it to the local museum to have experts identify it. And the museum officials confirmed that it was a dinosaur bone that was estimated to be 250 million years old. The bone was about 16 inches long and weighed 15 pounds. It was believed to be an upper limb of a 65-foot-long sea-based predator, the plesiosaur. The plesiosaur is a distant cousin of the modern-day lizard, but plesiosaur fossils had only previously been found in Africa, Australia, China, and the Americas, never before near the English Sea, which makes this unusual find even more mysterious. Underwater gold. An amateur scuba diving club who was exploring the coast of Israel in 2015 discovered what they thought were toys shimmering under the ocean's surface. It turns out what they saw were actually 1,000-year-old gold coins. As they examined their findings further, they found even more coins. At that point, the director of the scuba club reported the findings immediately to the Israel Antiquities Authority. Officials returned to the site with metal detectors and found a total of 2,000 gold coins that were in mint condition. The trove of coins was at the bottom of the sea for 1,000 years, but they surprisingly didn't need any cleaning or polishing since they were preserved by the salty sea. Most of the coins were originally minted in North Africa and Egypt and were dated between the years 950 and 1036 AD. The coins were found in dinar, half dinar, and quarter dinar denominations. The dinar is still the principal currency unit in several Middle East and North Africa countries, but was used much more widely historically. This massive haul of coins is the largest ever unearthed in Israel and is believed to have been from a merchant shipwreck. Whalebone. The oldest baleen whale in the world was found in a quarry off the coast of New Zealand in 2018. The fossil was estimated to be more than 27 million years old and consisted of separate bones that, when pieced together, formed most of the perished whale's body. The skull itself was the size of a person, and the whale was estimated to be about 16 feet long, which is small for a whale. It was estimated that it was a young whale that may have died from disease or a shark attack. Cemetery. Vincent Marcello from New Orleans, Louisiana, decided to install a swimming pool in the backyard of his historic French Quarter property. But when the construction crew began digging, they stopped at a mere 4 feet deep when they struck something wood. The wood turned out to be just one of 15 coffins that the workers discovered buried under Marcello's property. Unbeknownst to him, Marcello's property sat on top of Old St. Peter's Cemetery, which was first established in 1723. because Louisiana state law requires respectful treatment of human remains. Archaeologists were called in to remove the caskets very carefully. An adult coffin weighs between 600 and 800 pounds, but these were waterlogged since they had been buried below the water table, so they were even heavier. Once they were carefully removed, the skeletons were sent to a forensic laboratory for DNA testing and examination of the bones, with hopes that the results would reveal much about the diverse ethnic groups that made up New Orleans. Ferrari. In the late 1970s, a group of kids was digging in the mud outside a house in Los Angeles. Just below the surface, they struck something metallic. As they cleared off more of the dirt, the kids thought the item felt like the roof of a car. So they flagged down a passing police cruiser for help. Once the officers determined that the object was indeed a car, they brought a team with shovels and an industrial skip loader. After much careful digging, the team uncovered a dark metallic green Dino 246 GTS model Ferrari that was in surprisingly good condition. After running the car's license plate through their system, the police learned that the car had been reported stolen in 1974. Whoever buried it had obviously expected to come back for it later, since they had tried to seal it up with plastic sheets to protect it. There were even towels shoved into the engine and gas tank to prevent dirt from entering the mechanics of the car. Once news got out that the car was in relatively decent shape, car enthusiasts were clamoring to make offers to buy it. Eventually, a local mechanic purchased it for $9,000. Once he got the car to start, he registered it with the California Department of Motor Vehicles with a vanity license plate that read, "Dug Up." We hope you enjoyed this video. What was your favorite underground find? Would you have called the authorities or kept what you found? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, click the subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.